that's what I'm seeing on my side.
Yep. We're live, boys.
We're live. All right.
Yeah.
So is Dan joining us? Dan should be, or is Dan's probably not on screen, right?
Yeah, but he's on. Don't worry.
All right. Good deal. So we have an epic announcement. I think this will make waves like a tsunami across the real estate industry. I'm here with my good friend Curtis Johnson, who introduced me to Kyle Whissel and Dan Beer, and two of the largest producers in California, and really two of the best guys that I've ever met in real estate, killing it every single day. I believe they're doing collectively over 400 million in volume annually. Yeah. Outstanding. And a big announcement today. They both joined us. They've joined the party known as eXp Realty. And man, we are
EXP Nation. Woo!
Today. We've been saying it for a long time that once you see it, you can't unsee it, guys. And what was your experience? Obviously you guys are producers, you get it. But what really was it that you saw that made you say, man, we got to do this?
Yeah, man. For me personally, I've run an independent brokerage now for 10 plus years. And the big sexy thing of owning an independent brokerage is the fact that at some point you can ultimately sell that brokerage.
Right.
And on the surface, that's super sexy. You're thinking, yeah, there's going to be a multi-million-dollar payday. It's going to be amazing. But just in the last 2 years, I've been approached by 5 of the largest franchises in the entire nation and the entire world, really. And I've learned a lot going through that process. I learned how it really works. And while it seems really sexy on the surface, it's not as sexy as it seems. Because what happens is they're going to look at your EBITDA, your earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, assets, which is pretty much your net income. But then if you are the largest producer on your team, they're going to take your production out of it. Now, most of us that run brokerages realize that the only profit in the brokerage is your production. So once they take your production out of it, your brokerage is pretty much worthless at that point. But let's just assume you've got a really profitable brokerage and it does $1 million in net income. So now what they're going to do is take that $1 million, they're going to put some sort of multiple on it, 3, 4, 5 times. So let's just say it's four times. So they're going to pay you $4 million to sell your brokerage. Sounds really sexy, right? That's that big payday that we're all looking for. But you don't get that $4 million up front. It doesn't work that way. They're probably going to pay around $1 million up front. And then you got to stay on for another 3 years or so to get the other $3 million.
And now you got to try and keep it all together, right? You got to keep the plate spinning.
Don't just stay on. You've got to stay on. You've got to retain your agents. You got to retain your production and hit certain benchmarks if you want to get the rest of that money. If you talk to any independent brokerage that's ever sold, find out, did they actually get all that money that they were promised? I will bet you 9 times out of 10, they maybe got half of that money. So what looks like this super sexy $4 million payday probably is going to end up being around $2 million. Then you get that payday, and then what? Then what the hell do you do?
Right.
Now you got to go back and start generating income again. So I started looking around for a better exit strategy, a better way to do this, something that was more realistic. And that was how I came across eXp, because they offer 2 things that I can't offer to my team, that I can't offer to my brokerage. And that's a retirement plan via stock and a passive income plan via revenue. Via revenue share. And those were 2 things that completely changed the game for me and is the biggest reason why I made the move.
Man, yeah, that's it. That's it. Very, very well explained. And I think that your numbers where you guys are in San Diego have the biggest opportunity to maybe cash out on a brokerage. So, the reality of having those offers and looking through that and looking at, well, what are all my options and being open-minded, man, that says a lot about your character. We had to go through the same process as well and kind of put our egos aside and say, okay, what is this really, what are we going to spend the next 10 years of our life building, and what's the best option for us? And that's exactly the same conclusion we came to, was this is a no-brainer, if you're going to be in real estate for the next 10 years, where you want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully there's Dan popping up there. So Dan Beer, over, well into the 200 sides a year, well up close to 170 million in San Diego here. Good friend, amazing trainer. If you've probably seen some of his different stuff and known him for a while we were kind of discussing, I don't want to steal your thunder, Dan, but you're kind of looking at, obviously you're deep into the KW culture, and we're looking at some of the numbers of like, hey, do I start buying market centers? Do I start doing this? And that's really where the dialogue started, Jay, even back, 12, 13 years ago, we were looking at how do you get all these fires together? How do you do this? And that's kind of where our dialogue started. And then Dan started bringing in Agent X and people that were unknown, and he's got more behind that. So the fire is going. But Dan, welcome to eXp Nation. And how you feeling and how excited are you, buddy?
First of all, I really could not be more excited to have the Beer Home team at eXp Realty. Guys, I am so pumped up, and I'm excited to be in business with you, Curtis, with you, Jay, Kyle. We are going to absolutely pour into San Diego. And really, at the core of it, I always think, how does it affect my people? How does it affect my agents? How does it affect the people that I'm involved with in business on a day-to-day basis? And what excites me the most is the fact that we're going to go from having one bucket, just real estate, sell a house, collect a check, sell a house, collect a check. And we've now found a platform where we can see, whoa there. We found a platform where we could broker our deals through EXP, but we can create this incredible company with people like us here on the webinar, people watching, the people that are going to allow us to pour into them, that will allow us to introduce bucket number 2, owning an actual publicly traded company, and bucket number 3, which is revenue share, which has an exponentially different just power behind it, momentum behind it than profit share. And I'm so excited. Really, the biggest thing I want to share with anybody that's considering EXP, has been thinking about it, has been asking questions, is if you allow this group of people that are on this Facebook Live here with you right now, allow us to work for you, right? The way I've grown my business, the Beer Home team only exists and is at the level it's at because I've come to understand very clearly that I work for my team members. I work for my agents. I work for my staff. And my job is to pour into them. Now EXP gives me a platform where I can not only do that for the folks on my team, but I can pour into anybody in the country that will allow me to be there for them, to help them grow bucket number 2 and bucket number 3. And by the way, highly enhance that bucket we already all have, which is simply selling houses. And I'm super excited. Kyle, couldn't ask for a better just partner in crime to go to just do this in San Diego with, and you and me and all the folks that are going to allow us to pour into them. I can't wait to see them grow, see them benefit. And this is just fun, man. I haven't been this energized in a long time.
Yeah. So you guys probably see Dan's probably out. He's probably out farming and knocking doors right now because he crushes it farming. But one of the things he's talking about is when we come together, right? Obviously, spending millions of dollars in branding all the time. You get to keep your brand. You get to keep that. And I know that was really important to you, Dan, and also to Kyle. Obviously, to all of us. And being able to do that, keep that, but then still be able to bring everybody together. So how important was that? And I'm sure people that have spent millions looking at that, it's probably important to them as well.
Totally. I mean, the key here is the Beer Home team will keep operating as the Beer Home team, as it always has, as it's always looked. There's nothing that's changed other than the fact that my agents on our team, our staff members, they all now have the ability to also create other asset classes, retirement income, passive income. And so it's really just all a net gain, and it's just going to be a lot of fun. Here comes the helicopter.
So for those of you who are maybe just tuning in and catching this, we're talking with Daniel Beer, Curtis Johnson, myself, and Kyle Whissel about their decision to join eXp Realty. And if you haven't seen the webinar, I'm sure there's a link in here somewhere. We'll be posting one for you to take a look at what the opportunity is all about. And I love what Daniel said. I mean, my whole career has been about, man, I like working with people that are like me, that are hustlers, that are go-getters, that really want to add value to people's lives on a big scale. And, this is just the only opportunity I've seen in my career, that has ever come across that really completely aligned all of our vision, to be able to do that together and in a way that was where everybody wins. And so that's, something that really excites me, getting to work with you guys. And, it's funny how, I think, we probably at some level or another always look at our own marketplace as where we compete, right? Like, but, instantly when you join EXP, it becomes a line to help the agents, even in your own marketplace, and to grow and become better. Once they join you at EXP, there's a financial obligation and responsibility for you to help make sure that they're successful and share the things that you've done to be successful. And I think that, the agents in your marketplace are fortunate to have that opportunity if they see it, that they have the ability to not just, get mentored and learn from you guys, but really be partners with you at eXp Realty.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be amazing. The fact that somebody like Daniel and I can come together on something like this is one of the coolest things in the world, because I think both of us have always had this mutual respect for each other, and kind of watched each other's company grow. And we've been right there neck and neck with each other every year in the Wall Street Journal rankings. And it's been super fun to do that. And we've always wanted to find a way to collaborate on something and to work together and, to share the knowledge and the skills and stuff that we have. And to be able to do this together is insane to me. I'm so stoked to be in business with him, to be in business with you, to be in business with Curtis. I mean, these are, three of the guys that I respect more than anybody in this entire industry. And now the fact that even though we might compete on a listing, tomorrow, the next day we're going to come together and we're going to share the message and share this opportunity with more people. That is so rad to me, to actually be able to collaborate some of the biggest players, not only across the nation, but locally, and we can come together to do something. That's just super cool to me.
Yeah, there's no doubt. That's it's been the most fun I've had in the last 4 months since I've been been a part of this. I haven't had this much fun in 20 years of selling real estate. So you're definitely in for a lot of fun. That's for sure.
Yeah, this is just such a unique platform, because really, when you start wrapping your mind around the fact that EXP, that's not your company necessarily. Your company is the folks that you're banded together with, the mastermind groups you're creating, the people that are pouring into you so that you could grow your second and third levels of income, your second and third buckets, and that are also helping you enhance your real estate business. That's where, when I understood that, and I get to now have you three in helping me improve my real estate business, which only helps me grow the other two buckets as a consequence, as a wonderful consequence of it. That's when I just stopped sleeping at night. But more than anything, I just wanted to express how thrilled I am to do this, and we're going to be sharing a lot of it. Kyle and I, if you're not in Southern California, we're going to be making ourselves available via webinar and online. So make sure you get that information from us. And if you are in SoCal, we're going to be in person workshopping and all of this with you on a weekly basis. We have one coming up this Friday. So if you're within driving distance, make sure you drop us a line. And at some point, Kyle might drop a form here just so wants to show up, and we'll get you the address for Friday.
Yeah, so we're going to do what our plan is because we understand a lot of you guys that are watching this right now, we're going to have a lot of questions about what is this? Why are these guys doing it? All of this stuff. And so what we're doing is we're going to do a luncheon locally here in San Diego every Friday for the next month or so. And we're also going to do a webinar every Wednesday so that we can really address all the questions that you guys might have about why we are doing this crazy, crazy move. So if you guys want to register for the luncheon that's coming up on Friday, it's going to be 1 o'clock downtown San Diego. Just go to fastforwardmovement.com, and you can get registered for this Friday, 1 o'clock. It'll be a luncheon. We'll provide some lunch for you guys, and then we can really get into the nitty gritty and show you exactly how the stock options work for your retirement plan, show you how the revenue share works for your passive income plan. One of the coolest things that really attracted me to the company too, if any of you guys know me, I'm all about technology. I'm all about being at the bleeding or leading edge of what's happening in our industry. And one of the coolest things that I found with EXP is that they, instead of trying to invent all their own technology, which so many people try to do and they fail and they're always, chasing the leaders, instead of trying to do it themselves, they went out there and partnered with the best in the industry. About a year ago, we decided it was time to step it up with our transaction management software so that our agents, our transaction coordinators, and our clients could have a better experience. And we literally, Russell for my team, demoed like 20 different systems. And he was like begging me, can we get SkySlope? Can we get SkySlope? It's the best. I was like, I'd love to, but it was, I don't know, $600, $700, $800 a month, something like that. And that just was cost prohibitive for us. Now we joined EXP. They partnered with SkySlope. We get SkySlope now. How awesome is that? Then on top of that, platforms are really the big talk. And so what these guys did is partnered with two of the biggest platforms that are out there in our industry in Conversion and Commissions Inc. So when you join EXP, just by being a part of it, you get either one of those platforms. Now, full disclosure, it's not the team $1,600 version, but it's still a multi-$100 version of these softwares that you can run your business on. So I don't know a whole lot of other brokerages out there that the day you sign up, boom, you get a Commissions Inc. platform, you get access to SkySlope, two of the best technologies in our entire industry. So I love that they're tapping on the best technologies and they're building partnerships with these companies to pass it down to the agents, which is super cool.
Hey, so I want to make just if you're joining us now for this Facebook Live, just to announce Daniel Beer and the Beer home team in San Diego is coming over and announced they're joining EXP, as well as Kyle Whissel. And Kyle, you want to tell us what exactly the name's going to be? But this is huge news taking over Southern California. Just so excited to rock and roll with you guys and the collaboration coming.
Yeah, one of the coolest things, when you run an indie brokerage, there's a big part of wanting to control your brand. That's, part of why a lot of people run independents. We're control freaks, right? The coolest thing with EXP is we really don't have to change our name. We will still operate. We'll be the Whissel Realty Group. We'll be powered by eXp Realty. So what's really cool is our name Whissel, we get to retain that, and that has a great reputation. We've been the #1 team in San Diego per the Wall Street Journal now for, I think 3, it'll hopefully be 4 years when the numbers come out again. So we get to lean on that. But in addition to leaning on the Whissel name that we've built up over the last 10 years, we also now get to lean on eXp Realty, which is, as I understand it, the fastest growing real estate brokerage in the history of our country. I think last month alone in January, 1,000 agents made the move over to EXP. And hopefully we can help make that 2,000 agents in a month, with us leading the charge here in Southern California. So this is an extremely fast growing brokerage. It's across the nation. It's in Canada. So now for me as a small independent, when I need to lean on the fact that we are part of a national brand, now I have that, but I also get to retain my local roots with the Whissel name that we've built up over the years too.
So, you guys see me on there right now?
Yep, we can see you with that, right? So a lot of people think they know about EXP, and a lot of people have been waiting for opportunities to look deeper into it, but they were looking for some credibility, right? There's some good agents in EXP, but as it's gone from 1,000 people to 7, almost 8,000 people, obviously the credibility goes up. And with you guys, obviously this is a tsunami with this. But how excited are you to be a part in letting people reach out to you guys, and how can they touch on again how they can find out more?
A ton. So, Kyle's going to tell you here in a moment how you guys can get more. He's going to drop a link. We have a webinar set up for you. We also have a Friday event, so we're going to get all that info out. I just want to, before we cut this, I want to just really make the point of how did we even get here?
Yeah.
And the way we got here is that on my own, I've been seeing a number of things play out over the course of the last year or so. First, I see that our industry isn't insulated from what's happening to all other industries around, in the world. There is massive disruption everywhere, and we know it's coming to real estate. It's just hard. It's been hard to see exactly how and where. I've been seeing a lot of the pain points of agents who aren't feeling like they're getting massive value out of their local brokerages, which is where they pay all of their fees. And I've also been listening to the conversation that's going on around the country. And I'm talking at extremely high level, very, very high level top producer groups, folks that typically would not be talking about us, at the time, 2,000 and 3,000 and 6,000, now close to 8,000 person company. They wouldn't normally be talking about them, yet the buzz, the constant questions, what's going on with EXP this, EXP that, it's the conversation. Being privy to the fact that you have unthinkable, unimaginable headline-making names around the nation that are about to make this transition.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity right now that I saw, which was, this is the moment to jump on what will be the biggest brokerage in the world. It's already the fastest growing ever, and it will be the biggest in the world. And so I'm having these thoughts. I reach out to Kyle and I say, Kyle, can we have lunch? We sit down for lunch. I take him through my thoughts. He's like, holy shit, man. I'm thinking the same thing. I've been looking at the same thing. I've secretly been studying EXP, and the conversation was natural from there. So I'm telling you right now that Kyle and his $200 million a year business, my $164 million business this past year, and a lot of folks just like that, like this, Curtis Johnson, who's made the move, Jay Kinder. There are folks just like this across the nation that are making this transition and being first in. It's sort of like what if you had been at Keller Williams when there were 5,000 agents? The profit share those folks are collecting is mind-blowing, and that's profit share. Now times that by about 20 for revenue share. Okay, so that's the opportunity. That's why we're so excited, and we've literally bet our entire family's future on the platform and moved our businesses to EXP. Thrilled to be in business with you guys. And Kyle, what are the exact specifics so that we can just continue the conversation with anybody that has questions on how it affects them, their business? There's a million questions, and by the way, I asked about 500 of them before I made this change myself. So totally cool, and we're going to work through that all with you.
Yeah, if either of you guys know Dan or I, we are obsessed with understanding everything. Like, we want to know the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs. We want to know everything. So I don't know about Dan personally, but I've got a couple hundred hours worth of research into this. For me, a big part of it is, one, I want to understand the ins and outs. I want to read every contract, all the compliance, all of that. It was also important to me to talk to the leadership, the CEO, to make sure that our visions are in alignment with each other as well. And Dan, you talked a little bit about kind of the future, like this, and this is a cloud brokerage. I think that's important to talk about. So what really makes this brokerage different is there is no brick and mortar offices, which means they don't have millions and millions and millions of dollars of leases that they're locked into across the nation. I mean, I think there's a chart Remax puts out where they have, 1,000+ offices across the world. Like, that means you got 1,000+ leases. You got 1,000+ rents that you got to pay every month. There's a ton of employees that you have to staff those offices with. And what EXP has, learned is those offices are ghost towns most of the time. Hardly anybody's going in there. So why lock people into these crazy big leases? Because those leases eat all of the profit up for these brokerages. So everything with EXP is in the cloud. All of the education is in the cloud. All of the training is in the cloud. All of the support is in the cloud. So we really look at this as the Netflix to Blockbuster. So instead of, Blockbuster's gone because they had all these leases. This is the Uber to taxis. They don't have to go buy taxis, right? They don't need that. They're tapping into all of the existing resources. And one of the coolest ways that they solved this is, what you guys are like, well, where the hell am I going to work from? Well, most of the high producing teams around already have their own offices, because we've all learned we don't want to be in that office that has 200 or 300 people, because there's way too much noise and way too many distractions. So most of us already have our own private offices, and we intend to keep those. But as an added value, they signed a contract with Regus Executive Suites. And now whenever I want, I can just go drop into a Regus and get some stuff done. Here in San Diego, it's an hour drive from the north part of the south part of San Diego. With traffic, that could be 2 hours. Well, now if I'm going to be up in the northern part of San Diego, I could just work from there for the day and drop into the local Regus office and get my stuff done. So that's super cool. I love the way they solve that. And if you guys are looking, you want more info on this, go to fastforwardmovement.com. We're doing a live a luncheon on this Friday. Then we're also going to follow up with some additional webinars and some additional luncheons. So if you're local, we'd love for you to come to that on Friday. If you're not local, post your email address in the comments, and we will follow up with you, and we'll send you a quick little video that shows you the basics of what EXP is about. And then we'll be doing follow-up webinars every Wednesday to answer a lot of those questions you guys might have.
Awesome, guys. It's great to be in business with you. This is a great book too, by the way. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to pick this one up, Exponential Organizations. And, we're at the very, very beginning of this opportunity. When you think about, the opportunity as far as how many agents there are in the country, and, how many people are likely to be moving to EXP in the next couple of years. One point I wanted to make too, when you look at the growth of a company, and you look at how franchising has historically been done in real estate, and why we believe this company is going to continue to grow on the hockey stick curve is, they took the technology, they took all that cost and infrastructure. And if you remember, like Keller Williams, you had to have 30 people commit or something like that before you could actually open up an office. And then you go out and you get those commits, and then you can open up your Keller Williams in that area, and you can recruit in that area only. And one of the things that eXp has done with that cloud-based brokerage, again, the reference of Netflix versus Blockbuster, is it's enabled them to and essentially add as many agents as you tell about the opportunity across the country. They can join eXp, and you get the revenue share on that opportunity. They took the cost that was going out to all these brokerages, that they were building, and these offices they had to build, and the infrastructure and the pay structure that they had to have in order for somebody to take a region and operating an office, and not just Keller Williams, but any franchise that was out there that's tried to grow quickly. They just couldn't grow quickly. It was cost prohibitive. It was a very slow growth model. It takes 20, 30 years to grow a company to that size. But like you see with Uber and all of these, these platform-based companies, it's very similar to this opportunity. I think, we're expecting, I don't think that anybody can really predict how fast it's going to grow, especially with the big names like you guys coming on board and joining in. So we're looking forward to, adding more value. Our goal is to help you grow and sell more real estate. There's obviously, the couple of pieces that, that you don't have where you're at probably, which is ownership in the company that you're working, and the opportunity for a revenue share, another stream of income. But we're all really good at selling real estate. And, part of what our commitment is to you when you join eXp through us and on our team, we become partners with you, and we want to add as much value as we can. So the training, the things that we've created over the years are all going to be included. You're going to have access to a ton of valuable content to help grow your real estate practice as well. So I'm really thrilled that you guys joined the eXp, and I'm proud to say that I'm partners with you guys, and looking forward to having a lot of fun together, and B, helping a lot of real estate agents make a lot more money in their real estate profession.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
If you guys want a webinar with more info on why we're doing this, and with the specific details of all the pillars of this business, the cloud-based aspect, the tech, the stock, the revenue share, post your email down below. But if you're in San Diego or anywhere in Southern California, go ahead and go to fastforwardmovement.com, fastforwardmovement.com. I think we have room for like 40, 50 people on Friday. So we'd love to have all of you guys come out for that. That would be awesome. We're going to do a webinar every Wednesday. We're going to do a luncheon every Friday so that we can just share and answer questions, because just like you, we had a lot of questions. We had to do our research. We had to do our due diligence and really understand this inside and out. And so we want to kind of be that sounding board, the way that, guys like Jay and Curtis were there for us to sound our questions off of. We want to be that same resource for you guys. So that if this is a decision you want to make, then let's do it. And another thing I think is important to point out is eXp is not big in Southern California yet, which for guys like Dan and I, we see that as opportunity. In the markets where it's at, it's growing like freaking crazy in Texas, in Florida, in Northern California. But Southern California is an untapped resource right now. So when you're in a company that has a revenue share opportunity built into it, we all know being at the front of that movement is where the opportunity is. And that opportunity is right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody, though. Everybody, like, no matter how big you think or small you think you might be, you most likely have a lot more influence than you think. Because I guarantee you that if you're a productive agent, you have influence. You either have influence at your branch or market center level, or in your brokerage. You have influence in your zip code, in your neighborhood, in your town, in your county, or in your region, or nationally. But I guarantee you, you have a lot more influence than you believe you have. And then you go ahead and put me on your back along with Kyle and Jay and Curtis, and let us absolutely magnify your influence regardless of who you're trying to get in the room with. And you can literally get anything you want done, you'll get done. It will magnify your reach. Proof of that, yesterday evening, we had roughly 50 of the top producing agents in all of San Diego County at dinner
amazing
for us to roll this out in a private reveal. And here's how it went. Okay, we were calling folks that don't typically take appointments. They don't take calls. They screen everything. But simply because Kyle and I said, hey, Kyle said, Dan and I, we're working on something together. We want to show you what it is. Can you be at such and such place at 7 o'clock on Tuesday evening? The answer was just simply yes. And we ended up with not enough seats at the table. We had to bring some extra in, cram them in, not in. And the reason why that's the type of influence that you now have or what the point I'm trying to make is that's the influence you now have at your disposal. Because if we can get that room there, say it was over $2 billion of production at dinner last night, then what will it be like when you're talking to a good producing agent in town? They're doing,
Hey, Dan, I think we're losing your audio a little bit there.
Take your hand off the mic.
Are you losing me now, or am I
Yeah,
back?
we got you.
No, we're good. Well, how important is the founders group, Dan, with that? I know the opportunity is always going to be here, but obviously as the company gets bigger and bigger, you're not going to have that much time. Kyle's not going to have as much time, or myself or Jay or Mike or anybody to be able to pour into it. So this beginning group and having billions of dollars in that room is so important as they take over Southern California. How important is that founders group to you?
It's huge, because what we want to figure out is who wants to put us on their back right now that we could just absolutely pour into anything they want. Just like we filled a room yesterday with $2 billion of production at dinner. Start thinking about if you called us and said, hey, I have an agent, they're doing $5 million a year or $10 million a year or $20 million a year, whatever it is. It's hard to get meetings with agents. Any productive agents is screening anything.
Totally.
Well, when we call and say, do you want to sit down with Kyle? Do you want to sit down? When you call and say, do you want to sit down with Kyle or Dan, and you could bring us to the table, trust me that if last night's room said yes on one phone call, you can now have any meeting you want, and you basically put us on your back, use us as your mascots, and borrow and influence through us. Obviously, us helping you grow your revenue share group. And that's what it's about. And that's why we're talking about being in business together. And that's also why it becomes a no-brainer for us to help you grow your own real estate pillar, which previously, theoretically, with profit share, you're supposed to want to help one another, but the reality of the math is that it doesn't really make that much sense to go pour in too much and spend too much time, because the math really doesn't work. Now on the eXp platform, it works incredibly well. Kyle, about brick and mortar, I used to actually overlook it, not really understand how absolutely important that was when I would hear about EXP. Then I got into almost buying a brokerage. And when I'm buying the brokerage, I start looking at the numbers. I'm like, holy crap, all of the company dollar that the agents are contributing is getting sucked into rents and salaries. That's it, rents and salaries, and it's the grand majority of it's gone. So when you remove that, EXP is able to provide world-class tools like Commissions Inc., like Conversion, like SkySlope, like the cloud brokerage, the virtual training rooms, and they're able to share back a ton of the revenue because they don't have to deal with the brick and mortar. So absolutely,
Dan, you froze up on a great picture of you, Dan.
Friday, and hopefully you'll join us downtown.
Dan froze up right there. So Kyle, what else? What do you think some of the if I'm an agent out here watching this or listening, what do you think I'm going, hey, you know what? This won't work for me because of this, right? Or some of the pushback, because everybody starts at a no, right? I started with no way, I'm not going to think, Dan looked at it for a year. I looked at it for a year. You said you put in hundreds and hundreds of hours of going through it. Speak to some of the naysayers, if you will. Like, a lot of it was, oh, there's no big names in it. There's no this, and there really was, but it's becoming more and more prevalent. What types of things mental hurdles did you have to go over that you think others might be wondering about as well?
Yeah, I think, this has been on a lot of people's radar for a while, but one of the issues has been that there hasn't been a lot of big producers within EXP. And so I'm doing the research, I'm paying attention to it, it's kind of on my radar. But once I start seeing names like Jay Kinder and Michael Reese going over, and Al Stasek and you going over there, and all these other people that we've been having conversations with that are planning on going over. We've got a couple of the teams in San Diego, another $100+ million in production that are going to be going over within the next week. So when you start seeing that the producers, the people that are actually out there doing business are seeing the value in it, that was when it went from something I was just interested in to really committed in. And that was where the change happened. So it really took seeing some other big names, because somebody's got to be the first to jump, right? When you're in that plane skydiving, somebody's got to be the first one out. And, it's awesome to have guys like you and guys like Curtis that were the first ones to jump out of that plane. And now we're right there along with you. And now we're paving the way for other people to come along with us. And that's a really exciting part of it. One of the things that was most attractive to me is, I've got a family. I love to spend time with my family. I love to go on vacation with my family, and I want to do more of that. And right now, if I go out and I prospect, whether it's an expired or in my farm or whatever, and I go out and prospect for that business and I land that listing and, pays me 15, 20 grand, whatever that amount is, that's fantastic. And when that thing closes, I'm going to make 15 grand. But if I want to make another 15 grand, I got to go do that again. And I got to do that again and again, where this gives me an opportunity to go out there. And instead of landing that listing, I land that big team and bring them into EXP alongside of me. And now that can pay me 15 grand next month. It can pay me 15 grand next year, and it can pay me 15 grand next year. So this is a way to leverage the skills that we've built up over time. So instead of having to go out and sell houses until we're 100 years old, we can go out there and sell this amazing opportunity to people and build recurring revenue, which is something we don't typically have in real estate. Right now, if you want recurring revenue, what most of us realtors do is we go out and buy rental property. And I don't know if you looked at the cost of property versus the return, but it's not that high. I mean, here in San Diego, if you buy something for $500,000, after all said and done, let's say you buy that cash, after all said and done, you're maybe netting $1,500, $2,000 a month, but you had to put $500,000 into it. The beautiful thing here is I can just put a little bit of time in introducing one person to this company, and it's going to return that same amount of money year after year after year for me with no cash investment up front. So that's huge. I'm all about passive income.
Absolutely. I love it, guys. Man, this has been a great conversation. Is there anything else you guys want to add? I know you got, you've mentioned we have the webinars on Wednesdays. Friday, you've got a meetup. Is there anything else, for people that want to reach out and just ask questions, that want to learn more? Obviously, they should connect with you guys. What will be the best way for them to find you guys? Just reach out or jump on to the website.
Yeah, best thing is if you're not local, post your email address down below. We'll send you a quick little video that'll give you the lowdown on what EXP is all about. And then we'll be doing a webinar every Wednesday. So this is kind of our announcement webinar, and every Wednesday moving forward, we'll do a longer, hour-long thing really explaining the ins and outs of what EXP is all about. And for those that are local in Southern California, we're doing luncheons every Friday, starting this Friday, 1 o'clock, downtown San Diego. We only have a few tickets left for it, so if you guys want to get in on that, fastforwardmovement.com, fastforwardmovement.com. It's free. Come out. We'll feed you guys. We'll give you the nitty gritty. We'll dive into the numbers so you can see if it's something that you want to be a part of. But we'd love to have you, just like, we're stoked to have you guys, above us, supporting us like you guys are right now. We'd love other people to come in so we could support them the same way you guys are supporting us.
Yep. Let us get to work for you. Let us partner with you. And by the way, you'll probably see us back on Facebook Live in the next 24 to 48 hours tops, because we have another mega announcement of another huge producer in San Diego County that's moving. And this buzz is not going to be stopped. It's already huge in a lot of parts of the country. It's huge in some of the top level mastermind groups. And when those folks move, everybody else tends to go as well over time. And that's how some of the biggest companies in the country have been built. So we're wanting you to get the message now so that you can be early with us and be part of our founders group. And so we'll look forward to connecting with you here, whether online or live on Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. Just
a better camera by Friday for the next one too.
Just to reiterate what Dan was saying, there is a flood of people, and there was some super bright people in the room last night. And I know that was just a fraction of the people that are obviously being exposed to this. Really sharp people that see the vision, that get it, that are already attracted to you. And I think one of the last comments, and then Kyle will send it to you and you can finish up here, is some of the people saying, "Hey, well, I'm a producer, but I don't have the same name recognition maybe that a Dan Beer or Kyle Whissel or anybody else, a Jay Kinder. How is this good for me?" And I think it was pretty interesting to say, you don't always have to sell you. That sometimes you're selling this group, this founders group, this fast forward group, fast forward movement with this. You don't have to sell yourself. And if you guys caught what was said earlier about just making a call and getting people in a room, you now have that, right? Well, maybe they wouldn't meet with you, but maybe they would with Kyle. Maybe you want to get me on a phone call with somebody to help you, but we're actually incentivized to help you grow your business. So just super, super excited. I was excited to come out to Southern California. I was just at the beach, but the waves were too loud. It's too beautiful here, so I had to come inside the hotel room. So last things, Kyle, you want to touch on that or anything else that jumps out at you?
Yeah, I just want to say, whether you are doing hundreds of millions of dollars of production like Dan or I, or you're a brand new agent in the industry, the opportunity's there, because everybody who comes in is getting to work in the cloud and get 20, 30 hours a week of training that's available to them. Everybody who comes in is getting SkySlope, Google Suite, conversion, commissions, and everybody coming in is getting that. And as just in the course of doing business with EXP, you're getting stock automatically. You're actually building up a little bit of a nest egg for your retirement. And if you choose to, you have the opportunity to earn passive income via the revenue share. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to go out. I don't want to recruit. You don't have to recruit. If somebody reaches out and says, hey, what's this EXP thing all about? Send them a quick little webinar like we're going to send out, invite them to a luncheon, and let us help you introduce the opportunity to them. Because we're all
even if you have zero intention, though, of ever doing it,
you don't have to.
It still has massive momentum behind it. So even just from a market intelligence standpoint, you're going to want to join us just to understand what is EXP, because even if you're not hearing a lot about it at this moment, I guarantee you will hear more and more and more and more about it. So you at least have to understand it, even if you never intend to go, just so you could position yourself in terms of, not being caught off guard and someone asking you what's EXP and you say, oh, I don't know, right? So you don't want to get to where the consumer knows more about it than you do. So join us regardless, and we're happy to have you.
I love it. Again, post your email address down below. We'll send you a webinar that you can watch. We're doing live events every Friday, fastforwardmovement.com. We're also going to start up live webinars with Q&A starting up next Wednesday. So we just want to share it. We don't want to push anybody into it. We just want to share the opportunity. If it's for you, cool. If it's not for you, at least you understand it.
Yeah, we'll also say, we're going to be super just cool and gentle in terms of there's not some crazy aggressive follow-up, none of that. The reality is our phones are ringing, our text messages are blowing up right now as we speak. There's not there's no worry of that. We're just going to basically, and actually that's why we're holding these educational events, the webinars, the in-persons, because we just want you to be able to do it on your terms, at your speed, and we're going to just make ourselves available. When you choose to partner with us, we're going to be there. And otherwise, we're still happy to have you and collaborate and just do business together, whether it be as partners or as colleagues. So we'll look forward to having you guys. Thanks so much for joining us. And hey, Kyle, congratulations, man.
Congrats to you too, man.